Hello and welcome everyone. I'd like to take this time to say thank you for joining our presentation today on helping your products stand out in the crowded natural food industry. A couple points before we begin the presentation. This presentation is being recorded, so your phones have been muted. If you do have any questions, please use the chat box feature and we will answer your questions at the end of the presentation. Also, the Yeti cooler drawing will also be held at the end of the presentation as well. My name is John Lackey. I'm a Business Development Manager for Quality Assurance International, which is an accredited organic certification agency. I'm joined today by my colleague Steve Tarmina, who is the Business Unit Manager for our NSF Consumer Values Verified Division, as well as Meredith Ricefield, who is a Senior Project Manager for our Sustainability Consulting Division. So let's begin our presentation today with an overview of the label claim programs offered through NSF International that can help your products stand out. So NSF offers a broad range of certification programs to help you connect your products to consumers' values, whether those values be dietary, religious, lifestyle, sourcing, or avoiding chemicals of concern. Certification programs like these can help you improve your product's marketability by quickly communicating your product's values to consumers. Also, third-party certifications help to prove to the consumer that you have the necessary quality assurance procedures in place to ensure that your claims are true and can be trusted. Certifications also provide access to retailers who sometimes require certification to access their retail shelves. For example, Whole Foods is requiring any products that make non-GMO claims to be certified to either the non-GMO project standard or to the True North standard by September 2013. This slide shows you some of our clients who utilize our certification programs to help their products stand out. This chart is an accumulation of data from the Natural Products Expos, which shows that more and more brands are using certifications like kosher, organic, non-GMO, and gluten-free to help their products stand out and gain consumer attention. At this time, I'm going to focus on organic certification. According to the Organic Trade Association, certified organic products has grown into a $47 billion industry since the National Organic Program regulations were implemented in 2002. And certified organic products now account for 5% of total U.S. food sales. The industry has grown so much that according to Nielsen, 82% of U.S. households now purchase certified organic products. Top food manufacturers have recognized this trend and the shift in consumer demand, and they're responding by acquiring organic brands to help better position themselves in the changing marketplace. So what's behind this trend? Really, the growth of the organic industry is a response to increasing consumer demand for food that is perceived to be healthier for them and their families, more sustainable, better for the environment, offers more humane treatment of animals, and is overall better for the economy. But what about all-natural claims? Sometimes brands will say, we're not organic, but we're all-natural. But what does that mean? The term natural is only defined by the USDA for meat. And otherwise, the term is not defined. So what do all of these brands have in common? According to the website classaction.org, they have all been subject to lawsuits for products making a natural claim. whereas the organic claim is the most regulated and defined claim in the food industry. When you become certified organic, your products can stand out by being certified to one of the 3 levels of organic certification, either 100% organic, organic, or made with organic. Products certified to the 100% organic level are allowed to make a 100% organic claim on the label. They're allowed to use the USDA organic logo, as well as their certification agency logo. Products certified to the organic level can make an organic claim, again, use the USDA organic seal, as well as the certifier's logo. And then a third tier of certification that is not as well known, but is still a certified claim, is the made with claim. And products certified to the made with organic claim level can make a made with organic claim, highlighting either the organic ingredients or the food groups used in their product. These products can also use their certification agency logo on their label, but they do not get to use the USDA organic logo. The organic certification process is essentially a 5-step process, starting with an application. Once the application is complete, an inspector is assigned for an on-site verification audit. The inspector sends in a report which is reviewed by the certification agency. The certifier then notifies the operation of any potential non-compliance issues that have to be resolved. And then once those issues are resolved, the organic certificate is issued. While organic certification has several unique attributes, such as the 3 levels of certification and a specific national list of allowed non-organic ingredients, there are several attributes in common with other label claims, such as the requirement for identity preservation with segregation to prevent contamination and commingling, a review of the product's formulation to evaluate compliance with the standard, verification of ingredient compliance through either supplier declarations or certifications. Another common requirement is audit trail and record keeping requirements to prove that the operation was running in compliance with the standard. And then also an on-site verification audit is also very common, depending upon the standard, to verify, to independently verify that the operation is in compliance. So since organic certification process does have so much in common with other label claims, I'm now going to hand over the presentation to my colleague Steve Taormina, who's going to give you an overview of the other label claim programs offered by NSF.
Great, thank you, John. As John said, I'm Steve Taormina. I'm the manager of the Consumer Values Verified Division for NSF, which is located in Boulder, Colorado. And we'll start with what is probably the hottest label claim for certification programs today, and that's non-GMO. As John mentioned, this non-GMO certification growth is being driven in many ways by Whole Foods Market's GMO labeling policy. And here we see consumer responses from a 2017 report that was done by the Food Marketing Institute. And it shows consumers' reasons for choosing non-GMO labeled products. The number 1 indication was it is for their health. Number 2, consumers said that they wanted as natural food as possible. Number 3, they said that their concern was for transparency. They want to know exactly what they're eating. And the 4th reason identified is sustainability or environmental impact, which in many ways is probably the most relevant issue around the GMO agricultural production, and that's due to pesticides. And I would suspect that organic consumers share similar concerns about their foods. Here we're taking a look at data from SpinScan from the 3rd quarter of 2015. This shows non-GMO project verified product growth over 1 year or 52 weeks. We see that the specialty gourmet stores, and you can think of these as Bristol Farms, Dean and DeLuca, and smaller Epicurean-style type stores, led all the different retail channels in sales growth for non-GMO project verified products. and they were closely followed by the other retail channels, and all were above 10% annual growth for that 52-week period. On the right, you see that the natural channel, so think of Whole Foods markets and natural grocers and Sprouts, plus co-ops and independent stores, led in the overall dollar share of volume sales for non-GMO project verified products. This takes a look at the data from that same SPINS set of information from 2015. It shows that the non-GMO product sales by store category or department across all the retail channels. Grocery remained the dominant category in overall sales at 65%, not surprising, and it was continuing to grow at that 10% per year clip. At the time, this was being driven by the addition of many newly verified chips and pretzels and snack products. Looking to the graph on the right, there's a strong continuation of sales and year-over-year growth in the refrigerated non-dairy beverages section. That's the soy milks and almond milks. Plus, there's the growth in the body care and packaged produce departments. In case you're not familiar, this is the Non-GMO Project's logo. The Non-GMO Project is a nonprofit organization that's based in Bellingham, Washington. They're a great group of dedicated individuals that developed their own standard and definition for what non-GMO means. Their history goes back to the early 2000s, and they really evolved due to a lack of regulatory action around non-GMO by the U.S. Congress. Today, the butterfly logo is on approximately 3,000 brands, more than 43,000 products, and it represents an estimated $19 billion or more in annual sales in North America. NSF is one of the technical administrators for the Non-GMO Project. NSF also offers its non-GMO True North certification program, and NSF non-GMO is approved by Whole Foods for its vendors who are required to meet their labeling policy guidelines, which come into effect in September of 2018. Some of the True North certified brands and clients include Jarro's Dietary Supplements, Country Life Supplements, Cargill's Truvia Sweetener, Hatch Chili Products, Dr. Pepper Snapples, Mott's Apple brands, Smucker's brands, and many others. So switching gears, let's take a look at some data from 2016 from Label Insight. And this was a consumer study done on grocery shopping preferences related to label claims. It's not surprising to see that low sugar and low calorie were on top due to the general weight concerns from the U.S. population. But if you look closer, you'll see that organic is preferred by approximately 1/3 of consumers. And then non-GMO is in there at about 18%. And then at the bottom left, there's gluten-free. And this is identified by about 14% of consumers based on their dietary preferences, or in this case, probably dietary needs. This consumer insight study from Mintel shows what could be considered a possible halo effect or health halo effect around gluten-free products. And what it means is it suggests that consumers perceive that gluten-free products are contributing to overall health and well-being more often than other areas such as weight loss. But most importantly, at least 1/3 of consumers who choose gluten-free products do so for sensitivity or intolerance reasons. And some of the biggest growth segments are, of course, breads and snacks, and then dairy and dairy alternatives and beverages. Looking at the sales trends for gluten-free, we see that the market has grown to an estimated $11.6 billion annually, and it's projected to continue growth exceeding 10% a year. And this is according to Mintel as well. Helping drive this growth are some retailers who are requiring manufacturers to get third-party certifications for the gluten-free claims on their packaging. Some large retailers have expressed concerns over their liability for selling products that are labeled as gluten-free without a certification behind them. And considering that the supply chain for ingredients like oats and other inherently gluten-free grains can be contaminated with low levels of wheat due to shared transportation and processing equipment at manufacturing facilities, it's a valid concern that retailers have. Celiac disease is, of course, a serious health condition, and an independent certification based on regular product testing for gluten and on facility inspections is what I would think many consumers are wanting or looking for in their products. And again, this relates back to consumers really looking for more transparency on their food labels in general. So another modern and interesting food issue is honey adulteration. Adulteration, as you know, is often driven by economics. It's a way for dishonest businesses to sell lower quality goods represented as the real thing. Honey, along with olive oil and seafood, is one of the most adulterated foods. Simply put, bees do not produce the amount of honey being sold in some countries. Honey has a global supply chain, and this has led to the mixing or adulteration of honey with lower cost sweeteners such as sugar cane, sugar beet, glucose syrups, and these are generally referred to as C4 sugars. Honey adulteration is so widespread that Netflix made it the topic of its first documentary video in a new series called Rotten, which takes a deep look into numerous issues related to the global food industry. This is definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it yet. And in case you're not aware, True Source Honey is an independent, nonprofit organization that was formed to address the honey adulteration issue. The certification program uses microscopic testing of honey samples to identify pollen grains. And then those pollen grains can be traced back to the flower or the plant species in a specific country. So this country of origin sampling and testing allows NSF, which is the sole certifier for True Source Honey, to confirm through a mass balance equation whether the honey packers in North America are receiving the true amounts of real honey from countries exporting them, such as Vietnam and Thailand and the Ukraine. There's also a Made with True Source Honey program for consumer packaged goods companies who want to show consumers their dedication to buying real honey and supporting beekeepers. This is another example of how transparency and trust rise to the top for consumers, just like organic and sustainability issues. The last label claim topic that I'll mention is about antibiotics. This chart is from FMI's 2017 Grocery Shopper Trend Study. It shows that antibiotic use in livestock and poultry is a concern for more than half, approximately 56% of U.S. grocery shoppers. So that's a pretty big number to have that level of awareness. Now remember, this is in 2017. It's a newer study, so this is of top concern for many shoppers today. The Raised Without Antibiotic claims and certifications appear on many food labels now, and mostly that's via the USDA's Process Verified Program approval process. These on-pack label claims help consumers identify and choose animal proteins that were raised in usually healthier, cleaner environments without antibiotics. The data on this slide is a little old, but it shows the steady increase in sales of packaged chicken products that met USDA's labeling requirements for raised without antibiotics. Today, NSF offers a Raised Without Antibiotics label claim certification program. We're working on version 2 of the standards right now, and we see this as a global opportunity. Just like organic and environmental claims, the issue of animal wellness and animal welfare is rising to the top for informed consumers. As they learn more about their food via the news and friends and social media, modern consumers are demanding cleaner foods that have been verified by an independent third party. So on that note, I'd like to conclude my part by saying that choosing a certification company is a little like finding a good friend whom you can trust. You'll want to get good advice from an organization with a lot of experience on a global scale. That organization should have qualified scientific staff who are passionate and engaged with the food industry and with consumers on the larger health and safety mission. So with that, I'll pass the presentation over to Meredith with our sustainability group.
Thanks, Steve. As John mentioned, my name is Meredith Ricefield, and I work for NSF International's Sustainability Consulting team. My team consults with companies in the natural products industry to help you source more environmentally and socially responsible materials for your products so you can mitigate social and environmental impacts and risks. And we'll go through a lot of what that means today. I also collaborate with NSF's software team to design and implement software solutions for managing, tracking, and verifying sustainability information alongside food safety and quality data. I have the pleasure of working with our organics team, QAI, and our consumer values verified team to help companies in this space bring consumer products with a strong mission and vision for sustainability to market. NSF is a strategic and tactical partner for companies in the natural products industry to set and achieve sustainability and responsible sourcing goals. We engage with companies to diagnose their performance and impact, design strategies and programs, and deliver sustainability solutions to build supply chain resiliency, operational efficiency, and brand reputation. And this is particularly important for companies in the natural products industry who have their brand value anchored in messaging around being better for consumers, communities, and for the environment. A new international study by Unilever reveals that more than a third of consumers are now choosing to buy from brands that they believe are doing social or environmental good. Recent data from sustainable brands reveals that 84% of consumers globally say that they seek out responsible products wherever possible, though 81% cite availability of these products as the single largest barrier to purchasing more sustainable goods. Meanwhile, consumers are demanding more information about the products they purchase. According to a recent survey from Label Insight, 39% of U.S. consumers say that they would switch from the brands they currently buy to others that provide clearer, more accurate product information through vehicles such as the label claims that John and Steve have discussed. And additionally, 73% of consumers surveyed by Nielsen say that they feel positively about brands that share the why behind the buy information about their products. Our sustainability team works on a range of scales to meet the challenges of this evolving landscape. Our work can focus on a particular product, on a particular facility or facility group, such as a manufacturing facility or group of farms, or we can work at an enterprise level on issues that impact your entire business. And this diagnose, design, deliver framework encompasses a wide range of individual capabilities, all with the core focus of moving companies toward their sustainability goals. I'll spend the next few minutes walking you through a couple examples of what companies have achieved at different stages in their progress towards a more sustainable model. I'm hoping that you'll be inspired to think about what your organization's next step may be in setting and achieving your own goals, in delivering on your company's mission and vision for providing high quality and sustainable natural products. We'll talk briefly about these diagnostic capabilities in action with case studies in both benchmarking and in conducting impact assessments for companies in the natural products space. Let's start with benchmarking. A key first step in deciding where to put your resources can be understanding your market position on sustainability. What are other folks doing in your space? Have they joined the Climate Collaborative? Are they conducting SMETA audits? Are they a B Corp or B Corporation? What kind of narrative are they presenting around sourcing their key ingredients responsibly? A benchmarking exercise answers these questions and presents the findings in an easy-to-understand, actionable format. And what does this look like in action? We recently worked with a client in the natural supplement space to conduct exactly this exercise. Their goals were threefold. First, they wanted to understand their sustainability and responsible procurement relative to their peers. Where were they market leaders? Were there areas they could target to document or improve their performance on an assessment like B Corp to tell their story better? Secondly, they wanted to develop key performance indicators to align with their goals for future performance. How can they continue to be a company at the frontier of defining what it means to make natural supplements in a way that lives their mission? And what do they need to do and show to know that they're on track and to tell their story to consumers? And thirdly, they wanted to create an action plan to deploy an assessment to their suppliers and identify areas for improvement. And NSF's role pursuant to these goals was to conduct a benchmarking analysis, to facilitate an on-site workshop with the client to develop key performance indicators and supplier assessment questions to capture this data, and finally to develop an assessment strategy and implementation plan to engage suppliers, communicate the goals of the assessment, and deploy the assessment. The ultimate goal, then, is to understand your impact and position and to chart a course for continuous improvement. Impact assessment is the other side of this diagnostic coin. So let's talk about impact assessment. The adage goes, you can't manage what you can't measure. And the reason that we hear this so much is that we all have limited resources to engage on any part of our business, whether it's improving quality or improving the environmental impact of your operations. And with sustainability in particular, there are lots of different ways a company can potentially dive into this space. Impact assessments, whether they're life cycle analyses, an LCA, whether they're water footprint assessments or hotspot analyses, are all about understanding where you can get the most bang for your buck and where you have the biggest opportunities to make a positive impact on your community and environment. We recently wrapped up a project to assess hotspots across multiple different supply chains, engaging in a multi-stakeholder initiative with goals of gathering data in energy, water, and food waste along the supply chain, and assessing opportunities for reducing the impact of these commodities through things that reduce waste, energy, and water consumption, and that use byproducts from manufacturing in new ways. Our role in this work was to develop a multi-channel survey and materials for survey data analysis, and to conduct research and data analysis enabled by on-site visits. We identified a potential universe of opportunities for improvement and presented the 12 improvement opportunities ranked as having the greatest potential impact. This type of work is a critical step in charting a path forward, which sets us up perfectly to talk about designing for sustainability. Once you have understood key factors in your company's sustainability performance, where the hotspots are in your operations and supply chain, what your competitive landscape looks like through a benchmarking analysis, and so on, then you can plan. This planning can involve setting long-term goals for your company, revising your supplier code of conduct or other policies, or the tactical approach to getting from the status quo to your preferred future state. So let's talk about how one company did this. We've partnered with a dairy cooperative on laying the path to their goals. The company wanted to develop, test, deploy, and define dairy producer sustainability criteria that aligns with international best practices, positions the brand in a leadership position, and combines safety, quality, and sustainability criteria for producing their products. Our role was to develop supplier assessment criteria in key categories, including animal welfare, environment, worker welfare, and food safety and quality. To train suppliers and client program administrators in the sustainability framework and supplier assessment, to conduct a pilot program to test drive the new requirements and documentation, to conduct gap assessments for all farmers on new sustainability requirements, and to revise the program requirements based on feedback from farmers. Delivering on this prior diagnostic and design work is the final step in reaching your sustainability goals. And this delivery work is probably the area of our capabilities that you're most familiar with, and the work that John and Steve have illustrated really speaks to these core competencies. NSF is a tactical partner for companies to deliver on their sustainability and responsible sourcing goals, whether it's synthesizing quality, safety, and sustainability factors into a single supplier engagement or audit program, or helping you to report to a framework like TSC, the Sustainability Consortium, which has product category toolkits that Walmart and other retailers have adopted to assess environmental and social impacts and identify improvement opportunities for many different types of consumer products. These frameworks have increasing market influence. For example, the Sustainability Consortium's tools have grown to be used by over 2,000 consumer product companies, representing over $200 billion in sales since they first began collecting supplier data 4 years ago. All companies in this industry face some common challenges in managing their supply chain, whether it's to maintain their commitment to natural and organic products, keeping their products free of antibiotics, or sourcing from responsible suppliers, challenges in traceability, transparency, and information management. I'll focus on that last part for our final case study, which deploys our Traction software platform to manage for sustainability. Traction seamlessly weaves sustainability data management capabilities with core competencies in quality and safety, enabling easier data collection and management across supply chains, better reporting, and faster decision-making. Traction is designed to comprehensively manage a myriad of supply chain challenges, from responsible sourcing to product or site quality and compliance. We track everything from progress towards responsible procurement goals to how individual facilities are performing on sustainable operations. And we have a dynamic view of compliance, so we can talk about compliance in terms of setting and meeting science-based greenhouse gas reduction targets, or in training your employees and partners to identify energy efficiency opportunities. For one client, we've deployed this technology platform in a software-as-a-service format to track progress towards responsible sourcing goals for 6 key commodities, such as palm oil and fiber packaging, so they can understand across hundreds of suppliers how well they're meeting their responsible procurement goals, leveraging certifications like RSPO, the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, and FSC, the Forage Stewardship Council. So let's bring it all together. NSF is a partner to address growing demands for transparency, authenticity, and sustainability. We're a partner to provide independent label claims to resonate with your mission and vision, as well as your customers, and add value to your products and brand. We're here to develop and deploy sustainability programs that align with consumers' values and investor requests for data. We're here to address evolving retailer expectations in safety, quality, and sustainability, and to manage and track supplier data to inform decision-making and deliver on key goals. And we do this in quality, safety, and sustainability across the natural products industry. So, how do you stand out in the natural products industry? The answer is by communicating your brand values publicly and by responding to consumers' push for more information on your environmental and social impact and your product label claims with transparency that informs their purchasing decisions. So for more information on how to do this via organic certification, label claims, and sustainability, you can reach out via email or check us out online using the contact information here.
We do have a question that came in about how you're seeing the natural products industry continuing to change over the past few years. So, John or Steve, I don't know which one of you want to take that one.
Yeah, I'll address that. The natural products industry is most represented would be through the Natural Products Expo trade shows. If you were to take everything and put them in one location, that's where you can take a look at what's happening. And personally, I've been going to those shows since the mid-90s. The level of sophistication in the products, the branding, the quality of the products has increased tremendously over the last 25 years or so. The amount of interest in natural foods has grown tremendously within the investment community, and obviously through the largest food companies in the world who continue to purchase brands in the natural products industry, these small brands that start up and then become household names. So the sophistication, the money, everything that really the industry set out to do a long time ago, which was to change the way consumers think about their food, has worked. It succeeded in many ways with a long fight to get the organic regulations to become a national program instead of a state-level system. That matured the organic industry tremendously. And with that have come the many other parts of the industry, non-GMO and gluten-free, these other label claims that we've talked about, that have also seen a level of maturity that has reached essentially the mainstream consumer today.
Great, thanks for that. What do you think that people should consider when they're thinking about which label claims are right for them and their company?
I'm happy to take a first pass at that, Ryan, and then I imagine that John and Steve may have some comments to add as well. So we tend to recommend our clients think about 3 different types of stakeholders in what kinds of label claims they'd like to pursue. And those 3 are consumers, investors, and internal stakeholders. There may be some label claims that are of particular importance to your consumers, whether they're asking for non-GMO, for organic, for gluten-free, or for things that demonstrate your company's commitment to issues like habitat preservation, soil health, etc. We also see requests for information from consumers and companies using label claims as a way to demonstrate that they've addressed some risks in their supply chain. And palm oil is a great example here. So there's a lot of investor risk about palm oil. We've definitely seen companies in the food, ag, and beverages space see losses to their publicly traded companies or see some hesitation from investors from the private equity and venture capital side because they're not able to demonstrate that they've acknowledged and addressed certain risks in their supply chain, or it's uncovered that there's some information that they may have known about and did not do their due diligence on. So that's another area where if a company has a commodity or area of their operations that may present some risks in their supply chain that would be sensitive from an investment standpoint, label claims are another tool that companies can demonstrate their competency in those areas. And the last stakeholder group we talk about is internal stakeholders. So we see that companies with a commitment to sustainability who are living that mission and vision are able to do things like increase employee retention and to boost their recruiting efforts to draw and retain top talent. So there are a couple different lenses that we recommend that companies consider as they delve into this space.
Thanks, Meredith. Steve or John, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
I'll jump in and just mention, make sure it's relevant to your consumer. Obviously, taste, experience, price becomes the first thing you want to think about. But when it comes to label claims, just make sure it's relevant to the category. One of the things that's nice about NSF is the bundling opportunity that we have for companies looking to get multiple certifications or marks. We can combine services via one inspection or audit that could cover many different programs that you're looking for with respect to label claims.
So thank you to everyone who presented and attended today. A lot of great information, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks so much.